Hi, it's Norman Kochnik here for Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnik in collaboration with Sree Harsha Cricket. We're here to talk today, the morning after the second test has finished here in Sydney, Australia, with the Australian newspapers on the 20th of February 2023. In fact, the papers have been quite damning, as you would imagine, of the so-called disaster that has happened, the collapse of Australia. Hopes were shot in a dire collapse itself. So I believe this is the Daily Telegraph, and on the back page you can see very clearly swept away. The hopes shot in a dire collapse, and it certainly was a dire collapse. It goes on to show you articles about read it and sweep as opposed to read it and weep, which is a play on words there. You can see here pats on the back, basically never going to vanish. Pats on the back are vanished. So Pat Cummins will no longer get pats on the back. They're vanishing very quickly based on the performance of the team throughout the series. So the articles are really quite damning. Aussies missed memo and batting shambles. So Aussies missed the memo, the notes in the batting shambles. AB is shell-shocked at the collapse. Again, Border is shell-shocked. India has brought Pat Cummins back to earth with a thud. Familiar to many touring captains over the years, so it's no different to any other captains that they've received. The Delhi, it's very clever wording here. The flawed plan, Border's example was not taken. India were just too good. That's the bottom line. Ashwin, Jadeja were amazing. Even the Australian newspaper, you can see the Australian newspaper there, the heading there, and you can see very clearly the article there about Pat Cummins says, if you look at the heading there, Delhi disaster has Cummins and co reeling. It's the Delhi disaster has Cummins and co reeling. That photograph is pretty damning indeed. You look at it very carefully there. You can see the likes of Dave Warner, Steve Smith, and Pat Cummins all looking pretty forlorn. The back page says very, very clearly, swing and miss in Delhi debacle. Again, the swing and miss in the Delhi debacle. And you can see an example there of Steve Smith playing basically caught behind and bowled in every way possible. It's good old Gideon Haigh says, it's the deeds that matter, not the words. That's the deeds that matter, not the words. How Aussies, and Crash Coach says, how Aussies' plans got swept away. Pretty damning indeed. It really is quite damning, that discussion there, and it goes on a bit further about other women's cricket. Yeah, the papers are very damning with the chances of being swept away, the dire collapse, the way in which it's a Delhi disaster. It certainly spells a bad story for Australia. Cummins was very apologetic, and we'll look back on his team selections and help sort this mess out. But I'm afraid it's too late. Again, they had 4 bowlers. They only had the 3 spinners of Murphy, Murphy, Lyon, and of course Kuhneman. With only Cummins by himself, you can't have a Shane Watson said to me yesterday, you can't just have one fast bowler. Ashwin, Jadeja, Aksa Patel, champions. And they still had Shami and Siraj in support. So this is it. The Australian newspapers, stay tuned. We'll just talk more about that over time, but worth having a good read on. I've got photographs on my page as well. So there it is. Swept away. Stay tuned. This is Norman Kochnik for Eyes on Cricket and Sree Harsha Cricket. Watch for more videos on Australian newspapers.